Hey, it's Trick. So, a little while ago I went to DC for the inauguration, and I was going to make a video about that, but then I realized I didn't take enough footage of it to constitute making an entire video about it, so I'm gonna do this instead. The topic for this video? I like quotes. A lot of the way that I live my life is based on the things that I've seen other people do and that I've heard other people say. This may be evidenced by the fact that I spend a lot of time on YouTube playing covers of songs that I did not write. And sometimes those quotes are pretty inspiring and beautiful, and other times they're just kind of quirky and stupid. But whatever the reason, sometimes I hear something or I see something that just hits me, and then I try to incorporate that into my everyday life. Sometimes those quotes come from songs. She says, "We gotta hold on to what we got. It doesn't make a difference if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot." Bon Jovi. Some things you do for money, and some you do for fun, but the things you do for love are gonna come back to you one by one. The Mountain Goats. Sometimes they come from the people who sing the songs. You keep the drugs. I'll just take the sex and rock and roll. Whatever I do tonight, I want to remember in the morning. Paul Stanley of Kiss. When I was 5 years old, my mom always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them that they didn't understand life. John Lennon of the Beatles. Sometimes they come from movies or TV. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller. Why don't I ever listen to me? Dr. John Dorian from Scrubs. I think one of our duties as teenagers is to occasionally piss off our parents. Charlie Bartlett. Freaking love that movie. Sometimes they come from dead people. Is it so bad then to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I actually want to get the last sentence of that tattooed somewhere. The heart has reasons which reason knows nothing of. Blaise Pascal. We're all fools whether we dance or not, so we may as well dance. Chinese proverb. And sometimes they're just quotes that I found on the internet, whether it be on YouTube or Memebase or Facebook or some other internet outlet. Always doubt the apocalypse, because you'll usually be right, and when the day comes that you are wrong, there will be no one left to say I told you so. Charlie McDonnell. Also from Charlie, you learn something new every time you do something obscenely stupid. And a lot of the time when I see or hear something like that, all I can do is sit there and think, wow, I wish I was smart enough or cool enough or insert other adjective here enough to come up with something clever and original like that. And I don't think it's that I'm not clever and original per se, it's just that I haven't come up with anything like that yet. And for me at least, it feels good to know that someone out there was smart enough or cool enough or insert other adjective here enough to actually come up with that thing and say it so that I have something to cling on to. And as much as I want to be the person to say that cool and quotable thing for people to cling on to, I think I've come to the realization that it doesn't really matter where a quote comes from. I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, I've probably in one way or another misquoted someone in this video. It's what people do with that quote after they've read it or heard it that's important. Two people could hear somebody say something the exact same way, and one person can think they mean one thing, and the other person can think they mean something totally different, and they can both be right, and that's what's so beautiful about it. And it doesn't even really matter what they do with that quote. As long as they're doing something with it, that quote has done exactly what it was put there to do. It has changed the way that that person thinks about their life and how they're living it. Maybe our favorite quotations say more about us than about the stories and people we're quoting. John Green.